Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tackling one of the biggest paradoxes in the workforce right now, the whole AI job apocalypse. That, well, might not be an apocalypse at all. So, what if all this talk about AI taking our jobs is, well, a mirage? We're going to dig into this huge contradiction that's popping up in the workforce, all based on some fresh analysis from Forrester and the Burning Glass Institute. Because, yeah, everyone's talking about AI replacing people, but the real story, it's way messier and honestly a lot more chaotic than that. Okay, get a load of this number, 50%. That's the percentage of layoffs, the ones blamed on AI, that Forrester predicts are going to be quietly reversed by 2026. Yeah, you heard that right. Half of the jobs cut for AI efficiency are going to be filled again, not by some advanced robot, but by another human.
All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the AI layoff mirage itself. Then, we'll talk about the pressure this is putting on the workforce. After that, the engagement drain, what this does to company culture. Then we'll get into the corporate playbook for fixing this. And finally, the most important part, your playbook for winning in this weird new job market.
All right, first up, the AI layoff mirage. Let's really get into why this whole narrative of AI just swooping in and replacing everyone isn't quite adding up. Turns out, there's a massive gap between the hype and what's actually happening on the ground.
This quote from HR executive really just hits the nail on the head. Companies are laying people off for AI capabilities that, well, they don't even exist yet. They're betting the farm on future promises instead of proven tech that's working right now. It's a huge gamble, and they're using people's livelihoods as the chips.
And here's the fallout from that gamble. This data from Forrester is just wow. It's crystal clear. A majority of employers, we're talking 55%, already regret these AI-driven layoffs. They jumped the gun, and now they're dealing with the consequences, like losing all that deep knowledge their people had and seeing the quality of their work take a nosedive.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. We're seeing it in the real world. Take Klarna. They tried to replace 700 customer service agents with an AI chatbot, but guess what? Quality tanked, and they had to bring people back. Or how about Amazon's futuristic Just Walk Out tech? Turns out, a huge part of that AI was reportedly over 1,000 workers in India watching the video feeds. The bottom line in both cases, the AI just wasn't ready for prime time.
Okay, on to our second point. This whole flawed strategy is creating what you could call a two-front crisis for the workforce. It's squeezing people from both ends of the career spectrum.
So picture this. On one side, you've got experienced, skilled workers getting pushed out for AI that, frankly, isn't ready to do their job. And when that AI fails, what happens? They're often replaced by lower-cost offshore labor, not brought back. Then on the other side, you've got new graduates who are just locked out. The entry-level jobs they need to get a foot in the door are vanishing.
And this isn't just a feeling. We've got the hard data to prove it. This chart from the Burning Glass Institute is pretty stark. It shows this massive collapse in jobs that need less than 3 years of experience, especially in fields like software development and data analysis. The crazy thing is, companies aren't necessarily hiring fewer people in total. They're just completely skipping over the junior talent. So, this brings us to Section 3. All this chaos, it's not just a problem for hiring managers or job seekers. It's causing this deep, hidden damage to the entire workforce. It's an engagement drain.
And to really get a handle on this damage, we need to talk about a concept Forrester uses called AIQ. Think of it like an IQ score, but for artificial intelligence. It's a measure of how ready and able a worker is to actually use AI tools effectively.
Okay, so here's the kicker. Forrester found that a whopping 84% of workers have a low or medium AIQ. And you have to ask, why is that number so high? Well, it's pretty simple. Companies aren't investing in training their people. They're just kind of hoping everyone will figure it out, while at the same time, they're cutting jobs based on this very same technology. And this leads to the biggest irony of all. The very group with the highest AIQ, that's Gen Z, are the ones getting shut out. Companies are eliminating the entry-level jobs that these digitally native, AI-ready young people need to get started. It makes no sense. They're literally closing the door on the talent they say they desperately need for the future. So what's the end result of all this chaos and mixed messaging? Total disengagement. Forrester has a pretty bleak prediction. By 2026, nearly a third of the workforce, 28%, will be coasting. These are folks who've seen it all, the layoffs, the broken AI promises, the lack of training, and they've just decided to check out. They'll do the bare minimum, quietly withholding their best work. It's basically a survival tactic. So with a huge chunk of the workforce just coasting, how do companies fix this mess they've made? That brings us to part 4, the corporate playbook. The research actually lays out a pretty clear path forward, especially for HR.
It really comes down to 2 big things. First, they've got to challenge the hype. HR leaders need to be the ones in the room saying, "Show me the data. Show me proof this AI actually works before we let anyone go." And second, they have to rebuild that talent pipeline they've been demolishing. That means stop cutting junior roles and start redesigning them. Think AI-augmented apprenticeships, jobs built around humans and AI working together.
Okay, enough about the companies. Let's talk about you. How do you win in this new environment? This is the individual's playbook, because if your strategy is still just blasting out resumes online, well, you're probably playing a losing game.
Let's be real for a second. The old way of applying for jobs is just broken. Any online posting gets absolutely flooded with applicants. Then you've got these applicant tracking systems, these ATS bots, that kick out perfectly good candidates for no good reason. And on top of all that, hiring managers will almost always prefer someone they know or who comes from a trusted referral. Many of these jobs are practically filled before they're even posted. So if you want to succeed, you have to tap into what people call the hidden job market. And look, it's not some secret society. It's just how hiring actually works for the best roles. These are the jobs that get filled through conversations, through referrals, through a recruiter reaching out directly, long before anyone even thinks about writing up a public job post.
So how do you get access to that? It's all about a mindset shift. You have to stop reacting to job postings and start proactively creating opportunities. That means building real strategic relationships with recruiters. It means optimizing your LinkedIn profile so it acts like a magnet, pulling in the right people. And it means having conversations where you're not just asking for a job, you're demonstrating your value and showing how you can solve their problems.
Honestly, if you take one thing away from this for your own career, let it be this. The second a job gets posted online, your leverage plummets, and the competition goes through the roof. The real game is played way before that posting ever sees the light of day.
So in the end, this whole paradox forces us all to ask a totally new question. The future of work isn't really about humans versus AI. It's about who understands this new chaotic job market. So in 2026, which one are you going to be? Are you going to be just another applicant in a sea of hundreds? Or are you going to be the person that opportunities are applying to?